Simmons. I'm Tina Scott, and this is Jason Scott.
In intimate relationships, and this would be with married couples, people who actually live together, not just dating, outside of keeping the information of having an affair, because you should be open with that and put it on the table. So outside of that, is it anything that couples should keep under wraps? For instance, I don't like your family member. Is it some things that we should just keep to ourselves versus just being open and putting everything on the table because we're married and because we're a couple and we're supposed to share in everything? Or is it some things that, no, I just need to keep this to myself because it might not go over well with the other person?
I'll say this, as much as your mate can stand, right?
Okay.
So, you can give it to them in small doses, right? But if you tell them the truth about that family member that you don't like, it's understood, but you verbalize it.
Right, it's different when it comes out.
Right. Then you're gonna have an issue. So as much as your spouse can stand, I wouldn't say keep a secret, but you may have to give it in small doses to get the whole entire issue out. But just say, look, I don't like your sister. No, that may not get it. But you
go over well.
No, that's not. But you already know y'all got a little thing going on and y'all really don't like each other, but because you say it, it's out there, you own it. Right. But you can just point out little things along the way and say, I really don't like you with this, or how do I interact with your sister if this happens? So you kind of get some input and so on, or whatever the case is. You just kind of get their input on how to talk about difficult issues that you really want to bring out. But sometimes, you have to know your mate and how much they can stand.
That's key.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you know that, and if I know this is a real sensitive issue, I can't talk to you about, your mama coming over talking about how I cook. I don't like that, right? But I can't just blurt that out. So I have to say, show me how I need to interact with your mom because we seem to be bumping heads over how I cook and things of that nature. So it's a way to go about things, not just like I'm gonna get my one up, I'm gonna tell them, I'm just going rare. I don't like this about this and this, that, and the other. But then that creates turmoil in your relationship by doing that. But who wins, right? So this is your relationship. So you have to navigate that and just be mindful of the other person's feelings and emotions. You'll get your stuff across, but be mindful of theirs, and then you can talk about it and then resolve the whole issue.
And I like that, being mindful of your partner's feelings, because somebody flirted with you today and you really think that's something you may need to come home and say to your spouse, or just keep that to yourself. Things like that.
Yeah, some things. Things happen throughout the day. Now, she'll get over me sometime, like something that happened on one day, right? And I may mention it like 2 or 3 weeks later, or somebody else might have been around me and mentioned, like, oh, you said, why you didn't tell me? I'm like, man, it wasn't important. I mean, it didn't even come up on my radar to even, come home and tell you about it. It just happened, and it just went on into nothingness, right? I didn't bring it back up because it wasn't important. And that's why I try to say, baby, it wasn't important to me for me to hold on to. So.
That's another aspect of it, because we may keep it in thinking it's not important, but the other person may think that it actually is. Yeah, so that's a whole other aspect.
But when you said, should we keep things from them, I think sometimes what we do, if it's something that's negative or bad and we're feeling guilty about it, we tell our mate to get us off the hook. So we tell our mate because we have turmoil inside of us, right? Oh man, I did, whatever it may be, we tell them so that we can now be free, be easy, right?
And then give us all that junk.
So ask yourself, is it something they need to know, right? So if it's something they need to know, then should I tell them? So again, we have to ask ourselves, is it something that's going to hurt them rather than them being aware of it and making it better? Because sometimes we just tell the other person because we want to get it off our chest. We want to feel better. We want to be able to sleep in that. So we dump it all on them. They're upset now. They're feeling angry or whatever, and we act like we didn't. Oh, I'm free now.
I ain't no more issues. I'm sitting around there mad. Yeah.
So if it's for instance with your sister, right? So if your sister did something to you, and is it gonna make you feel better telling him, but is it gonna make him feel better? So we have to. I'm not saying hiding secrets, but we have to ask ourselves: is it gonna make what is the point?
Situation better,
or is it gonna make him feel bad? So now I feel good, but it's gonna make my mate feel bad.
Yeah.
Right. So, but as far as I think we should discuss things, we should know important things. I don't think we should keep important things.
Like money matters.
Sure.
Right. And
Big purchasing and stuff like that should never happen without having a conversation and so on.
My husband shouldn't know that I just bought a brand new car hidden from his best friend, who's my sister's friend, cousin. You know.
Right.
So again, we have to know what we're talking about, right? What are we referring to when we say, should you keep things? No, you shouldn't keep. You know, if it's something that's detrimental to your marriage, something that both of you guys should be aware of. Both of you guys should know. Right. But if it's something that you can't feel better about because you're feeling guilty, and you just let your mate know, and now he's upset about it, you know, or your mate's best friend hit on you, and you know,
That's gonna disrupt things.
Right. What is the point of him knowing? Well,
But you can just say, you know, I don't feel comfortable around her. Then it's like, okay, fine. Now I understand that when I'm with, you know, friend A, that you don't feel comfortable, so I won't put you in that position, right? And I'll make sure now I'm more mindful of why you feel uncomfortable, because obviously your little spidey senses have gone up, when you guys are in the same space, right? So now I need to pay attention.
So you're really not telling them what you're giving them, like a little note or something.
Or you can tell them in a way that doesn't hurt their feelings or make the situation awkward between you and the friend reunion, or whatever the situation is.
Right. Or you can get
that wasn't a good example.
No, it was a good example.
Because that happens too in relationships.
It does. And then, you know, like I'm not going to take my friend's side, right? I'm gonna say, okay, I need to sit back and watch this, you know, because obviously something could be happening, right? It depends on the person. Something's going on right in front of me and I'm not paying attention. I'm just blowing it off.
And instead of you not telling him, then he sees it and now
He'll
he's
be like,
upset.
oh, now you like it this way.
Exactly.
Right. How long has been going on?
So that's what I'm saying. We have to be mindful of what exactly we're talking about and if it makes the situation better or worse.
And you also don't want to get something off your chest with the detriment of your relationship. Yeah, I feel better, but now you have this thing going on in your relationship that you guys don't really know why or where it came from and what happened to things. Things grow into other things.
Now, if you went shopping, but if you went shopping and bought 3 new shit, stick them up on the bed. He doesn't need to know when you put them out.
Every single
Are
thing.
those new? No, I've had these for like 3-4 months.
The only problem is Amazon always show up at the doorstep. You know? If I can get them to deliver somewhere else, I'll be good.
Yeah, Amazon tells me y'all.
You know, right.
I think I'm in the trunk.
So I think it's all the situation.
It is.
And I don't think we should. Really, I don't feel like you should hide what you buy in a relationship.
No,
if you have to hide what you buy in a relationship, then that means there's a problem there.
Right, there's another problem.
Right. So if I buy 6 pair of shoes, I'm gonna walk in the door with 6 pair of shoes.
Right.
And so.
And if I have a 55-inch screen TV delivered, twice a week,
I should know before it gets there.
I told you I'm here for the men.
Shopping can be a major issue in relationships, and the only thing that I say about that, especially when you're living together, as long as the household is taken care of, I personally don't mind what you do with your extra, finance. Enjoy yourself, live your life.
Right. But you know what? It's nice to feel comfortable to say, hey, you know what? I like tech, and if the latest thing come out, that's my thing. I want to do it. That's fine. Your thing may be something else. So don't make me feel guilty every time I want to make a purchase, because then I'm going to start to resent you when I want to get something, or I come to have that conversation with you, like, hey, this new television's come out and you can do this, and I can put this on it. And then you go, why you do that? And then it's like, okay, I'm not going to have this conversation. Right. So now every time something new come out and something I want, I can't really express it the way I want to.
So we have to redefine and redesign relationships. Because and no disrespect to the ancestors, but I don't think they had all the answers when it came to relationships. A lot of things were not discussed and wasn't talked about.
And the men, because the men had family over here and a family over, and they stayed.
My great grandmother said after my great grandfather passed, that those 7 years was the best of her life.
Because she put up with a lot, she allowed a lot.
And that's the only thing I can read from you.
Yeah, but that's old school.
That's something, right?
And that's what I mean. But we have to be able to be upfront, honest. We have to stop thinking that why can't our relationships be? I bring a 6 pair of shoes and he's okay with it. He brings a new TV and I'm okay with it. It's about just understanding each other, understanding what makes each person tick and being happy with that.
Because society says
Stop
that
trying to control
women, but see,
everything.
society has put it out there that women shop too much, spend too much money, and they have to hide their items. That's what it said. That's what society said.
So you would say, hey, you shopping too much.
Right. Then you spend all the money. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, like, right. If you want to buy some shoes or you want to shop, I don't see anything wrong
And
with
I think, again, everything in moderation, right?
Right.
Now, there are some women who overspend.
Sure.
Right?
And
And
there's
then
some
when it comes out, like, oh, well, I don't have money because I spent it on this.
Right.
So, again, it's a lot of variables when we're talking about relationships, but, you know, I think
That
in a
goes
relationship,
towards
you
the
do
finance.
what makes you happy
Mhm.
because tomorrow's not promised, right?
Right.
So if today was my last day, I want to spend it like I'm happy. That's what we have to look at.
Right. You can't pass up a sale. I'm learning that.
You know, I got 60% off.
Exactly.
I'm learning that. Right. I'm thinking like, okay, so what is 60%? Can we get out of the store? So.
Absolutely. So we just have to start thinking about relationships in a different way.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can't, one, a relationship doesn't just happen.
Nope.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
That's
People
right.
think we just get married, we get in a relationship, we live every day.
Yep.
If you're changing every day and I'm changing every day, and we're not understanding or communicating or growing and changing together to understand each other, then the relationship is just going to lose
Yeah.
what it has
That's
and
the
for
word,
it
the
to
foundation.
Yeah.
the spark, the
Yeah.
communication, the excitement, whatever. So we have to be intentional in our relationships. What type of relationship do we want and how do I get it? Just like a job, just like school, just like a car.
Right.
You pick the type, oh, I'm gonna get that car one day, and that's your mind. I need to do
So then
this.
it work. You have to do the work.
Right, so I need to, so I want, a man picks a car, I want this car, he knows everything he needs to do to get it.
Right.
It's the same thing with a woman. He sees a woman, he knows everything he needs to do to get her.
Mhm.
But then we forget about all that after we get married.
Yeah.
What kind of relationship do I want?
Right.
How do I see my relationship? How do I want my relationship with my mate? How do I want us to communicate? How do I want us to be intimate? All those things you have to be intentional and make it happen.
Yes.
We just forget about that.
Absolutely.
Why would that? And the problem is we don't talk about it. So why would relationships be any different than education, work, cars, or anything else?
Right.
Because we don't discuss it.
And they require work just as everything else. So you bring 100%, I bring 100%. It's not even 50-50 with relationships. You give the best version of you, and you give the best version of you.
That's right.
And let's make this thing work.
Absolutely. And it can.
Yeah, 50% is a F.
Because of that.
So you bring two F's together, you got a failed relationship. Okay. I mean, people think like, I'm bringing 50%. Okay.
No, you gotta bring
If you do 50% on anything else in your life, it's subpar.
Yeah.
But you accept that in your marriage, like you actually, that's an A. Right. You wonder why your stuff is not together.
Bring a little bit more.
Yeah, right. I need you to do so well. Right. Right.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Unhealthy habits as far as weight gain, spending habits. We were just talking about spending habits. Those tough conversations. And I think we just kind of touched on that, the best way to discuss them. We just kind of went over that, having that safe space.
Yeah. I think
And I think start small.
I think right, starting small with something like if for a man, this is a tough conversation for a woman, if you have a woman weight gain, right? You just can't say that, right? You gotta ease that in there, right? You gotta chip away.
Some compassion.
For sure, right? So my thing is, you start off with something small because if you guys can't communicate that well, you definitely can't communicate on tough conversations. So you need to just chip away at the little small things, like me moving that plate, things like that, right? Before we can start to conquer everything, because then we can start.
Now we're building a foundation of communicating
and how to resolve issues.
How to resolve issues,
Right. So then we can move up, and I feel that as we start to overcome all these different issues. So we have plenty of them. We have plenty of them to start on before we get to the big ones. And then now I can feel comfortable, like, hey, baby, you know what?
No, she meant the other way.
Right.
You know what?
Yeah. That shooter was kind man. 2 years ago it was fine. Right. But you need to, you're right. And then we all know what else. Right. So, so you can have these conversations, whether it's in a joking manner or you just need to say, hey, I'm worried about your health or whatever it is.
So like you said, you have a safe space and starting small.
Right.
Conquer small things that you guys argue about and being successful with those, and then moving up to things that are more sensitive, hard to talk about things.
Yeah, that would be easy. and I like how you all give it a name, a love talk, because sometimes when you say to more so a man than a woman, you're not going to talk like that. It's automatic.
You don't say, oh, we need to talk. I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm done. I know. We're all ready, right?
So like love talk, let's have a love talk, and then that way you can, they can know.
And you explain it beforehand. You guys, and you can name whatever you want, but it has to be something between you and your mate that you guys understand. When we come together to talk, and either you say this or I say this, that means that we need to really like sit down,
Turn off the TV.
yeah,
It's just-
turn off your phone.
And it's done in private.
Yes.
There's gonna be at a party like, oh, love talk. Okay? No, we're not doing it. Right, no.
Wait till you're home in a safe space.
Right, and it's a relaxed type of atmosphere.
Right.
Because it's just a conversation about something like that.
What I didn't mention is I think we should also, before we request a love talk, we get to a place where we are able to talk about if it's a sensitive issue for us and we're upset, then the person needs to be at a calm place. Because if we're going to a safe space that we have designed for us, and you're coming in angry, you're setting the whole temperament right there.
Right.
So you have to be, if it's a conversation or a situation or issue that bothers you, we have to, one, think it over in our mind and ourselves and come to a calm place of how can I express this to my man where he's going to hear me? Or how can I express this to my wife where she won't get defensive? So, that safe space has to be a safe space.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, like you said, already calm in my peace.
Right.
I'm
Right.
peace.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Yeah, exactly.
I'm calm.
I come with trying to resolve this issue
Yes.
because
Right.
this is something that has been bothering me and I want to talk about it.
Yes.
So, because not everybody is aware. Yeah. So your mate is not aware of the issues that you have unless you talk about
Unless
it.
you talk about it, right? Nobody's a mind reader. He or she
That's right.
can't read minds, so you have to be able to express yourself. Know what you want, know how to express it. Baby steps.
Baby steps.
That's all it is. Baby steps, right.
Baby
Yeah.
steps. Okay, so I guess I'll make this the last one that I have, and best tips or advice to build healthy relationships, whether that's with friends, family, colleagues, anybody. I always say to be open, be transparent, and when it comes to family, be okay with saying no. Because if you're a yes person, you're going to stress yourself out, and then people will tend to take advantage of you. If you're always saying yes, even when you want to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to, and I think that comes from setting boundaries.
Yes. Boundaries
Yes.
very
Yeah,
important.
so, and again, self-love.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, and then what's funny is that if you're a yes person, you're always saying yes. The first time you start saying no, people are going to get upset.
Yeah.
Well, why can't you do it? Why didn't like
You
you
always
like you
exactly.
have like you're supposed to say yes. Right. So we have to be able to be okay with saying no, but also being able to express that to other people.
Yes.
So the boundaries and just self-love, because sometimes we say yes because we don't love ourselves enough to say
Say
no.
no.
And we want to feel loved, we want to feel wanted, we
Right.
want to feel needed, so
Right.
we gotta say yes because we need that. I need you to want me. I need you
Yes.
to,
I think that personal development for you as an individual is what's going to make your relationships better. Because the common denominator in all your relationships is you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you're not happy with the relationships that you have, it's because you grew them to you. So you have to become a better you, and those bad relationships or relationships will change. Because once you change, your surroundings will change.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
as I work and become a better me, my relationships have changed. Now, have I lost some friendships? Well, yes. Well, actually, I guess what? They weren't really good friendships then, were they? Because the first thing they said was, man, you changed. Well, right, I am. But you're not.
You're supposed to grow and
Right, change and evolve. I'm trying to become a better version of myself, which doesn't work, right? So you become a better person and you will see your relationships start to change. So don't look to change the relationships, look to change you. And then everything else on the outer will change and just make everything better. Because you'll start to accept and not accept certain things in certain relationships. You'll find out certain relationships just don't work. And just because we're in the same family doesn't mean I need to interact with you the same way. Right? If it's unhealthy for me, it's unhealthy.
It's unhealthy, right? Friend or family,
My
whoever it
take,
is.
Yeah.
my take is a little different. My take is kind of like that, but I like to put myself in the shoes of the other person, right? Let's just say the mother-in-law, right? If the mother-in-law doesn't like you, instead of you feeding into the fact that they don't like you, if you try to put yourself in their shoes, well, what is it about me that she doesn't like? Or don't feed into the negativity, right? Be yourself around whomever it is. We have a tendency to change according to the temperament, right? So a person who you know that doesn't like you, you immediately tense up or whatever, or you immediately put on that front.
They come around.
Yeah.
Be more loving. My mom used to tell me love heals. And I'd be like, Mom, I don't want to hear that. but it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I have learned that even at grocery stores, the cashier, she's having a bad day or the face off round up. When I'm more loving and kind to that person, they then respond with the same back with me. It's the same thing with my mate. If I'm more loving and kind to him, I can only expect the same thing in return.
Right.
But if I know he's upset at something, then I'm upset. Now we're both of us. You know, just like with the mother-in-law, the friend. If you want better relationships, be a better person by being who you are genuinely all the time. And I try to be a loving person all the time, so that so if you're in a, because you never know what somebody's going through, right? And if I can bring light and love to whatever it is that's going on between us, then you may have read me wrong. You may now feel as though I'm a confidant instead of an enemy, right? So it's putting yourself in the other person's shoes, not saying, well, she don't like me, I ain't gonna like her. You know, we have to stop thinking in terms of it's the other person. What can I do to make the relation? What can I do to make this, all my relationships better? How can I be a better person in every situation, at work, as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, right, as a sister.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all got them real relatives that try.
Oh yeah.
Right, you know. But you have to start doing things differently with them, and they will see it and they will respond differently.
Yeah, because I would think it would be difficult if somebody's genuinely showing you love and kindness for you to just continue to just
it doesn't work. Because then you feel guilty.
Right, you start feeling some kind of way like,
yeah, it's just so sweet.
And it's actually free. It's actually free. You know, you said, you know, people you don't like, but when you change your outlook about that person and how you're gonna talk and treat them, they start treating you, but it's free. Like you don't like you.
Because it takes energy. It takes energy when you see somebody and you go, oh, mention this person. Come this person. Right? You know, so now you know how to deal with it.
Right, and now your body's all tense and you can fight or flight.
It's like you just feel good all the time.
Right.
You know, like I had told him one time, he had really upset me.
Oh, wow. This relationship.
And I told myself, you know what? I don't like this being upset because I'm not used to not touching you. I'm not used to not being happy. I'm not used, whatever this is, let's just move it over. Because we want to hold on to it, right? We think if I'm mad for 6 days and he's gonna notice. He's like, what the heck wrong with her? Nobody cares.
And she get over it.
Right. So we have to find different ways to the same problem.
Yeah, because it builds up. I mean, when it goes to that, it's like, okay, well, how long is this going to go on?
Right. But then you start digging in. Like, I ain't different. I'm not gonna talk out. I'm not gonna be nice. Right.
Again,
Okay, well, I guess I'll go, you know, get this for her.
Right.
But we have to change our mindset. We think it's giving in.
Right.
It's not giving in. It's finding a different way for the same problem.
Right.
And because if you keep doing the same thing, you're gonna have the same outcome, right?
Exactly.
If I put the same movie in every single time, the ending is gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Right.
If I change it, what do
Get something
I?
different.
You're gonna get something. Do I want to keep having the same outcome? Do I want to keep being unhappy? Do I want to keep being upset? What do I want in these
And those
relationships?
questions you have to ask yourself,
Absolutely.
right? Do I want
It's
a
like
different
football.
outcome or do I want the same thing?
If you keep-
What's the meaning of the same?
Right.
The
The same thing,
over
expect a
and over
different
again.
outcome. So I'm gonna get upset over something we did. I'm gonna expect him to read my mind while I'm upset. What's the reason I'm upset? I'm gonna expect him to figure out what it is I need, and you know, so
It's like the same outcome.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid to me. We waste our time and stuff that don't even really matter.
And then after a while, it blows over, and then we end up right back here.
Right back.
It just keeps repeating itself.
Let's rewrite the story to the way we want it to end. Let's make a better ending, and you know, let's just like it.
And that's
Like I said, I want to be like, you know, say, give me my roses now, not 15 years later.
Hey, I stopped getting her because you said you didn't want them anymore.
Once a month. Right, once a month.
Yeah, she said that. I was good. Right, I was good.
My son, we were in Florida, my son, he went into the store to get something, some liquor. But anyway, he came out with some roses, and I thought it was for his girlfriend. He gave it to me, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet. He was like, I just bought it for you, Mom. I was like, and it's the little things, right?
Yes,
It's the little
it is.
things.
It really is.
And the more that you express a different, not the same, like we used to all that mad and angry.
Yeah.
Let's try something different. Let's try something different.
Kindness and
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
And that's what we need. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels good when someone loves you and you can express love to someone else. But
It also feels good when you walk into a room and like, hey,
yeah, and
oh my God.
everybody's like, oh, like, hey, it's good to see you. And it genuinely feels good to be there.
Yes.
And you like the company that you're in. But then, we so, like, she's baby mad. I can't let that go. I got to show her that how mad she made.
Even in the relationships with the other woman, change the way,
Oh, yeah.
baby mamas, baby daddies,
you have to-
change the way. Let's see if, sometimes if you try something for 7 days.
Right, so
see if there's a different outcome. Same thing with your husband, right?
They constantly pushing your button, and you always being nice. And go, man, I just can't get to this person. I used to be
That happens.
She's nicer than what I thought.
Right.
Or the point is that sometimes we go out of our way to be that negativity for that other person. Right? We don't want to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it makes life easier.
Mhm.
If we're not
friends.
No.
It's some people you have to know from a distance.
But the key word is love. The key word is love. Right there. As opposed to hating her from a distance.
Right.
Being able to understand each other and communicate effectively or understand each other. I respect you, you respect me. Let's come to a place of respect so we can move on. Let's stop doing this because it doesn't help me, it doesn't help the kids, it doesn't help the husband, it doesn't help anybody. And the point is that you haven't done anything to me and I haven't done anything to you.
Right.
Our common denominator is
The kids.
the man or whatever,
the
right?
family member,
So
right.
the thing is that he saw something in you that he liked, he saw something in me. So obviously something good in us.
Mhm.
Why do we have to be negative to the other person?
Right.
Because if you had met on the street, how do you know you wouldn't like them? Right?
Yes.
So we immediately dislike somebody from what we think
Right.
they are, or because of the situation and circumstances. Let's change that.
Yeah.
We don't have to be enemies. You don't have to sleep at my house.
Right.
We don't have to go to
Right.
We're not gonna be best friends now. Let's get this straight. Now,
Right.
we're not gonna
But
be
when I see you, I don't have that feeling inside when
Or I
I see
feel as though we can come to, we're adults, we can talk, we can come to a common ground and agree to disagree on whatever it is, but at least moving in the
you.
same
And a lot of times,
You don't get anywhere if we both pulling.
right,
If we
a
both
lot
pulling,
of
you're not
times
gonna
people
get
just want to be heard too in the relationship.
People want to be heard, people want to be loved.
Yes,
people-
yes,
right.
So talk to me, tell me how you really feel. I mean, what's going on, and how can I make this relationship better?
Being the
Yeah.
bigger person, taking that bigger step, sometimes throw people off. They just
Right.
the whole act. They like, what? Whoa. Right.
You being nice? You actually didn't ask how I was
What does she want? She's trying to kill me. What-
She looked at something. Right?
Again, the same outcome, right? If we're gonna play the same movie, we're gonna get the same outcome. So let's try something different. Let's try, and relationships, all of them.
All of them.
Yes.
Man and wife, girlfriend, boyfriend,
Yeah.
daughter.
Baby.
Right, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because we're all
families.
exactly.
A lot of that happening now. Blended
Yeah.
families, the adults should be able to communicate and have a plan in place for the kids because it's about the kids,
True.
The adults are grown.
If your
Right.
kids don't see you effectively communicate, how are they gonna know their
And
relationship?
they taking the cues from us.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
So
So when I grew up, I saw my stepmom and my dad and my mom, they never got along, so you're carrying that baggage that wasn't even yours.
Right. And then you think, well, that's how I'm supposed to treat, if I'm in that
Exactly.
situation,
Right.
this is how I'm supposed
Yeah.
to act.
and mine was
So we have to show that example.
mine was totally different. I mean, I had my mom, and then I had my sister's father, which was my father, and then I had my father, and it was all like, you respect your mom. And everybody got along. Everybody
two
so I had two dads.
Right.
So I was raised by two men, and two men showed me basically two different. They were totally different in their way of interacting, but they taught me very different things, and I was able to draw a little bit from both of them.
They both gave you value.
Right.
They both gave me value, and it is all about
Easy.
how you treat your mom and how you respect your mom, what your mom says go. And that in turn taught me how to treat a woman.
Mhm.
So I was dating a young lady years ago, and she said, you're the type of person I would marry, but I wouldn't date you. And I was like, wow. Again, people don't want to be in healthy relationships, right? So I was too healthy for that
You
person
want
at
a
that
bad
time.
boy or something outside of somebody.
Right, you be the one, when I'm ready, you to be the type of person I would marry, but I'm not gonna be bothered with you right now.
No,
Because I don't want to be happy in that kind of way right now. But I know that's what I want later on, but just not right now.
okay, well, you're gonna miss your ship.
Right, exactly. So, and it's just, I'm like, wow, that is just a strange thing to say. So,
Yeah.
like, what's wrong with you? I'm here right now, right? I'm like, I'm here.
That goes back to the good guy stereotype.
Yes,
Some
right,
women don't
right.
want the good guy. You know, he's too kind, he's too generous. I want somebody who
Again,
wants
like
to
let's say, like you said, it's a toxic relationship, right? So again,
When healthy stuff shows up, you're like, nah, I won't
I
that.
want that.
Right,
It's
but
like
this is
nothing
healthy
to
for me
worry.
right now. So it's not toxic.
like, do you want that piece of cake or do you want something healthy? Right now, I want that piece of cake. So
Right.
so again, what are people's, what do they define as toxic? So
Self-love, self-worth.
Yeah.
It comes back to that.
And you get to that point,
but
you know.
again,
you
there's
evolve
no
to-
one type of relationship.
Yes.
No.
Right. So what may seem healthy to me
Right.
may be healthy for her.
Right.
What may seem unhealthy to me may be healthy to her. So
Right.
it all depends on what you want
Right.
And as
Each
you grow in
individual
the
and what you know.
Right.
Right.
Your experiences.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the key part. We touched
Yeah.
on that, your experiences and what's actually built into your subconscious. Because a lot of times, even when we are reacting and responding, we don't even know that we're doing it subconsciously.
Right.
Because that's something that's been rooted down in us. So again, like I may think I know what you're getting ready to
Right.
say, so I'm already ready to respond to that.
Exactly.
Because I was in this situation before 15 years. I know what she's getting ready to say. I know what she's getting ready to
Well,
say.
yeah, I'm ready.
But you don't know because you haven't given that person the opportunity to speak,
Exactly.
you know, and really listen and hear them and being able to respond from what they're actually saying, not from what you think you know.
And then we got to, like you said, we got to bring that baggage, right? Bring
Yeah.
that baggage from old relationships, old hurts, old things.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna do this or she's gonna do this because they've always done, you know. So
Exactly.
being able to again,
Yeah, we just always
Change our
pack up our
outlook.
luggage,
Yeah.
take it to the next relationship. You get all of that there, like, all right, come on, we gonna get together. We starting all over.
Yeah. Let's deal with our issues. Let's start to acknowledge what our triggers are, what it is that disrupt our peace, and just deal with that. Take ownership of it, take accountability of it, and then that way, you know, go into your relationships, taking people at face value, giving them the opportunity to show you who they are, because people will show you who they are if we pay attention.
I think that's what
And also, let's say this one thing. Also, if you're in between relationships, try dating yourself. Try finding out what you truly like. Don't look for someone else to make you happy.
Yes.
Find out what you like, date yourself, and find out your quirks and things of that nature. Don't worry, the person that you're seeking is seeking you. They're right out there for you, but it's just waiting for you to get yourself together. So when they do show up, you can actually attract them to you because you will see them. Get all the other stuff out of the way, forget all the past relationships, but learn you, date yourself, understand what you need, and then everything else will take care of itself.
And then my perspective,
Mhm.
which is different,
Of course.
which is always, sometimes we want to find fault in the way our mate does things, right? Why don't we try to understand why they do it?
Right.
Yes.
Right? So if my husband always yells, screams, holler, maybe we pick from a family that does that. And that's their only way that they know how to communicate. Instead of tearing him down and being opposed to it, let's try to understand why you communicate like that, and then let's try to work on it. Again, we are who we are because of what we were in the past. And instead of me holding you to as a fault, let me understand your past. Let me understand why you do things the way you do, and then let's work on it. Because we don't know, like you said, we don't know what we're doing. This is what I was taught. Everybody in my family hollers and screams. That's the way we communicate.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
You don't holler and scream. What's wrong with you? You don't holler and scream. That's the only way we know. So if we don't know any other way, we gotta try to see why the person does what they do. Why do they do this? Why do they communicate this way? Why do they not communicate this way? Why do they feel this way? So we have to look at the past of the person and then try to, and even ourselves.
Yes.
Why do we do what we do?
I call
And then
that
working like
grace. I call that grace. Give yourself grace
Yep.
and give that other person grace.
Yes.